Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to what's going to be another great edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. We got a wonderful show for you today because we're very lucky to have this man because he's so damn busy, and we love having him on the show because he's full of great knowledge. And if you listen closely to the things he's going to say, it's going to help you up here. Dr. Bob Winters is a renowned sports psychologist and has been associated with David Leadbetter Golf for over 2 decades, as well as having his own practice, which we'll talk about a little bit. He is also an author and well-known speaker who brings 45 years of golf knowledge vis-a-vis playing, coaching, and doing research to assist his students, his clients, which is kind of unusual, which is really, really great. So we're more than happy to have him. And let me welcome Dr. Bob Winters onto the show right now. And let's give it up. Let's give it up for Dr. Bob. Yeah, absolutely. We got a full studio. Dr. Bob, Thanks so much for taking time, because I know you're very busy all the time, to come on the show and talk about a very important aspect of the game of golf, and that is what's between the ears. And you do it so well for so many people all over the country that we're always pleased to have you on the show. Let me kick it off and ask you, what's the difference between confidence and assuredness? When somebody's very assured of themselves, what's the main difference?
Well, now you're talking about, word soup, Dennis. And let me say this, it's always great to be with you on the 19th hole.
Appreciate it.
And obviously confidence is the single, most important factor, I think, in playing golf. Even the great Jack Nicklaus said, despite all of your, talent that you have, the one ingredient that you have to have is confidence. And the only way you really obtain that confidence is through work, really creating that confidence skill. So we talk about strengthening that mental muscle, and confidence is just so many things. It isn't just one thing.
Yeah.
And let me just give you just a little few definitions of what most people think confidence is. Most people think that confidence is this global belief in oneself. All right, that I can do something. And that's, pretty much a very standard definition. Another definition would be sort of a task-specific level of confidence, saying, okay, I have this specific task. I have to hit this 50-yard little pitch shot. I'm very good at that shot, very competent, which leads me to this belief that I'm self-confident. I can hit that particular shot. I'm not as confident, though, when I actually have this, 50-foot putt. My distance putting isn't all that good. So I'm not as confident in that, domain as I was with, the chip. Then there are situation-specific confidences. Situation-specific confidences are situations you've been in before, you feel very comfortable with them, and you just say, I know I can handle this. So when we take a look at confidence, it comes through a whole spectrum of different things.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want you to understand is that when I define it, confidence, it is a multi-dimensional phenomenon. It encompasses an amalgamation of successful experiences, coupled with the belief and knowledge that one can and will do something to produce a desired result. It's highly linked with faith and belief in one's innate and developed abilities. Now, that's just half, of the confidence definition that I have created. Confidence is also the strength, the mental strength to overcome distress, negative anxiety, physiological anxiety, and still get through all of that doubt and all of the negativity and still go on and produce the desired result. So confidence is really two-fisted, Dennis. It means, I have the belief I can do something.
Right.
But the reason people love to feel confident is that I don't feel any fear. I'm fearless.
Yeah.
And that makes people feel great. Now, you asked what's the difference between confidence and assurance. Well, they're really kissing cousins because when we talk about, assurance, it's confidence or, certainty in one's own ability. I'm self-assured. I know I can do this. And then when you put, self-assurance, then you put, certainty, certitude, you put all of these different other synonyms. They're all of the family of confidence. And
Yeah.
confidence is made up of patience,
Hmm.
grit, determination, resiliency, all of these different things, and they make up, one's confidence level.
Right.
So we're always on a never-ending journey to create confidence, and especially in golf,
Yeah.
because golf will test your level of confidence on any given day, on any given shot.
Well, you bring me to my next question. I'm glad you finished with that, Doctor. We all know golf is hard. This is a hard game. You struggle with it, at least when you're learning the game. And because of the nature of golf, because it is difficult, does that present a roadblock, so to speak, for lack of a better term, to gaining confidence because the game is so damn hard?
I think a lot of people go in, with the notion that I want to learn this game. And I think a lot of people get turned off very quickly when they realize it's a frustrating,
Yeah.
discouraging game.
Yeah.
But, the hook is when you hit a couple of good shots in golf.
Yeah.
And it's really what we call in behavioral psychology sort of that partial reinforcement. It's like, B.F. Skinner had the rats, in the lab, and he would actually have them, push on the lever, and, every now and then they'd get a pellet. And we'd call that partial reinforcement. And that's really the nature of the game. It's that one shot that we are so successful on. It's the one shot that brings us back.
Right.
But, confidence, it isn't a guarantee that says, boy, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a great round today because I'm confident.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot easier to go out and have a great round when you're feeling confident and
Yeah.
competent, but you
Yeah.
have to have the requisite technical skills along with the psychological and emotional skills and the patience and the fortitude to hang in there. But the great thing about confidence is that, just like trust, is that when you're playing with confidence, it is such an addictive rush. It feels so good because you can't wait to get to the next tee box and to the
Right.
next putting green,
Exactly.
because you know that good things are going to happen. And let
100%.
me say this, confidence is really the notion that I can do something and I'm not going to actually be hindered by doubt and carefulness or worrying about making a mistake. Because when you have total confidence, there is no doubt, there
Right.
is no worry. And that's why people love to feel confident,
Yeah.
because they're fearless.
Right. It's a great feeling, like you said. Let me ask you this. You kind of touched upon it. For some reason, in my view, when people learn the game, they always seem to excel at one part over the others. Guy hits great tee shots. A guy has a great short game. He's a good putter. Obviously a lot of confidence in that part of the game. Why can't he channel that to other parts of the game where he or she is not so good?
Oh, that's the whole human dilemma, Dennis. It's the approach avoidance conflict. We always approach things that we love to do. We practice things,
Yeah.
things that that give us pleasure, and we stay away from the things that kind of create discomfort and feelings of incompetence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you want to go out to eat, you're always going to go to your favorite haunt. You always want to go to your favorite restaurant
Yeah.
or your favorite meal. And that's sort of really what golfers do. And if you think about it, I mean, it's like Ben Hogan said, there's just not enough hours in the day to develop all the confidence and competence in every shot you're going to face on the golf course. It's
Yeah.
just really, really hard to do. So when you have a player at your club or on tour or whoever you're watching who's really solid in every dimension, driving, irons, approach shots,
Mm-hmm.
wedge game, trouble shots, sand play, putting,
Right.
and they are solid in every dimension, you've got yourself one hell of a player.
Oh, without a
And that's really
doubt.
what all the players on tour are trying to do. They're trying to actually maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, because in the game of golf, as you well know, golf will expose, just like a weak link in a chain. It will expose that weak link, and that'll be the
100%.
first thing to break under pressure.
100%. Is the reason why, Dr. Bob, tour players kind of pick and choose the venues they play? They go, I don't like this particular course, I'm not playing in this tournament. Is it because they don't have the confidence in themselves to play a particular type of golf course? Is it a lack of confidence? Because these guys are the best players in the world. They should be able to play anywhere with some degree of confidence. But I
Right.
often wondered about that. Why does a guy pass on a particular venue? Because I think he doesn't have the confidence that he's going to play well.
Well, as they always say, there's, horses for courses, correct?
Right,
And some courses just fit your eye, a lot better than
right.
others. And if we go back into classic golf, many years ago, talk about Lee Trevino, even Lee Trevino, the great Mex would say, Augusta's not made for my game, baby. I'll play there. He goes, but it's not made for my game, because Augusta National, is really made for a big, high ball draw player. And Trevino was, fader. He
Right,
faded the ball, but he found a way to get the ball in the hole. For
right.
me, my whole philosophy when I'm working with players, whether at the elite level, tour level, college, or juniors, my basic philosophy is this. I want you to be able to go out there and feel confident in your ability that you can play anywhere,
Right.
anytime, under any conditions, with
Absolutely.
anyone, and feel like you can compete. And for me, usually it's due to their schedule. They want to give themselves the very best shot, okay?
Sure.
So they're going to go to golf courses that sort of favor, their
Their
dominant
game. Right.
tendencies. And they'll probably, sort of shy away from those areas, where they don't feel like, I haven't been successful here before.
Yeah.
And, golfers are, by nature, they are a very superstitious lot.
Yes.
And they buy into a lot of different superstitions and a lot of, different wives' tales sometimes. And sometimes you have to sort of break them out of that pattern and say, you know what? It's just golf. It's just a golf course. So let's go out and find out how great you can be today.
Exactly, exactly. Dr. Bob Winters is our special guest today on the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. Dr. Bob, how do you keep your confidence? Say you reach a certain level of confidence. How do you keep it going when you're not playing golf? Are there things you could do off the course to continually reinforce that?
I think one of the biggest things, we keep talking about, and no one really goes into depth, very much. I come from a sports vision and a sports psychology and motor learning background, plus a playing background, coaching background, is the whole notion of, imagination and visualization. I think one of the most important things that we do as human beings is that we relive a lot of our past in our minds. In fact, if you really want to get into thoughts, and this is why the importance of possibility thinking is so crucial, because we are hardwired by evolution to have a
Yeah.
negative bias. And most of us are hardwired to be thinking negative. And so we keep replaying these tapes in our head over and over of missed shots, squandered opportunities, and we keep hearing that, and we keep, listening to that in our conscious and subconscious. And that is one of the worst things that you can do. And one of the things you can do in your conscious mind to help, supplant all of those negative thoughts is to think about all the great shots that you've hit. Maybe even having just a couple of situations where you said, wow, I really handled that situation with, composure.
Yeah.
I really did it professionally, and I hit a great shot. And you even start to think and feel about, hitting that ball right in the sweet spot and watching and really, creating that vision in your eye of that ball going to the target. I remember one time, Meryl Street, the great, Canadian, professional in the World Golf Hall of Fame, she asked me one time, she said, you tend to be one of the most positive people I've ever met. What makes you happy? And I looked at her and I said, well, what makes you happy? Like a good psychologist, turning
Yeah.
the tables on her. And she goes, well, what makes me happy is that I love to travel. I love to play. I love competition. I love the girls that we're playing with on tour. I just love the excitement. I love travel. And I said, hold on, you mentioned travel twice. And she goes, well, I love to travel. She goes, and I love people. So I said, okay, here's what makes me happy. I'm stepping up on a par three. And before I even step into the shot, I've actually played that shot in my mind. I actually kind of feel it in my body, almost a visceral feeling.
Uh-huh.
I step up into the ball, and say it's 200 yards, and I've got a 3-iron. It's slightly downhill. And I step up, and I actually make the swing. And it's an effortless motion. And I feel contact. It's like, butter.
Right.
If you say you hit it like butter, hit it on the sweet spot. And the ball flies up into this blue canary sky. And then it starts, reaching its arc, and it starts falling down to the earth. It's gravitating right to the flag, and it either goes in or goes right by the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit back and I kind of relish that, and I think, wow, I did that. I said, I'm the alpha and the omega. I am the genesis of creating that shot. I said, it's almost godlike. And I said, that's what makes me happy.
I love
and she
that.
looks at me and she goes, oh my God. She goes, that's deep, But the point of it was, I think that's the one thing that I could help all golfers with. I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Is that when you hit good shots,
And you do, yeah.
it's so important to actually soak up those good feelings. Don't just walk away and go, well, that's the way it's supposed to be. You don't want to do that. You want to sit there and go, this is what I want to do, and I want to replicate this more and more. And see, the thing I was talking about negative images is that 80%, almost 80% of our thoughts are negative or limiting thoughts.
Interesting.
That doesn't mean the other 20% are positive.
Interesting.
And 95% of our thoughts are repetitive, meaning we keep replaying all of these different pictures.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
interesting.
most of the majority of our thoughts are negative, we really have this negative positive asymmetry. We have an imbalance. And that's why, as golfers, you can't afford the option of thinking negative. And I'm not telling anybody to go out and be positive. I want people to go out, and we started here with confidence and assurance. I want people, and I will ask them when I'm working with them, are you sure this is what you want to do in this shot?
Right.
Or, do you have this level of certainty that, and this level of conviction, this is how I want to hit this shot? And so when they step in to hit that shot, they are absolutely, positively guaranteed, I'm committed to hitting that shot. You hear the word committed all the time, but commitment comes with the conviction that I'm going to do what I plan to do behind the ball.
Right.
So when I step into, I'm ready to go. I've got a
Right.
green light here.
Makes
but I would
sense.
say 95% of all golfers play golf with sort of a yellow light, red light. They go ahead and hit the ball when they're not ready. They hit the anyway shot. Well, everybody's watching. I'll go ahead and just hit it anyway. And the anyway shot goes anywhere. So the one thing I'm always trying to get my players to do, and been some of the best players in the world, you never hit a shot until
you're
you're
ready.
absolutely sure you want to hit this shot
Great
the
advice,
way you want to hit
Doctor.
it right now. And if you do that, boy, game becomes a lot simpler, and we cut out a lot of the
Great
nonsense,
advice.
of what if.
Yeah, great advice. Why are you saying to everybody that 200-yard par three, you're hitting a 3-iron when you're hitting a 6 or 5-iron? I know you. You're a very good player. You played competitively. What's this
At
3-iron
every
business?
level, yeah. The 3-iron, my 3-iron goes 200 yards. It has always only gone 200 yards. I've never been a big hitter, but I've been blessed enough to really be very accurate, where many of the players, even David himself at the academy, call me Dr. Dart. So I've always said to my players, I go, listen, I said, if you want to really be, a great player, I think of the word par, P-A-R. How do we beat par? Well, obviously, today's game, we're talking about speed and power. It's power.
Right,
Everybody's
right.
talking about power. That's one dimension. But the second dimension begins with A, and that's accuracy. And if you have power and you have accuracy. Oh my, but the third, the R, is recovery. being able to get the ball up and down, being able to recover, being
Yeah.
able to bounce back from mistakes. So
Right.
those three areas, I've always considered that accuracy, above power and recovery, because if you're accurate, you can be right down the middle all the time. If you're accurate, you're going to hit a lot of greens in
Right.
regulation.
Right.
So accuracy for me sometimes gets sort of a back seat to all the power and the 350-yard drives
Yeah.
that we're hitting now.
I
So
agree.
I always tell people, and I think this is something that you may even take off on, but I always like to tell people, who say, well, wow, these guys are out driving you by a lot. And I always like to tell people, well, I'm sufficiently long. And just kind of leave it at that. And
Yeah.
everybody kind of smiles because that way you're not really compromising your sense of distance
Well, right.
because I step up there and
Exactly.
hit that ball and give it a good shot.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Exactly.
I wanted to say this to you on the show because you had met, many members of my family a couple of years ago when we were out in Vegas. But we just got back from a trip to Scotland. And I want to tell you something about, Scotland, the Scottish people. Fantastic, hardy
Yeah.
stock, unbelievable golf courses. We played Prestwick, we played Western Gales, we played
Awesome.
Dundonald Links and Turnberry. And at
Awesome.
Western Gales, it was blowing so hard. I had 125 yards to cover, to cover, to cover a rock that was going into the high gorse. And I took a 3-wood and actually beat it as hard as I could and only
Really?
covered that rock by about 20 feet.
Wow.
That's how it was about
Wow.
45
That's
miles, 50
blowing.
mile per hour. It was blowing. In fact, it was a real bad hair day for the confidence doctor that day. So but it was good. I mean, I thought you'd get a crack out of that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it had to
but
be a
that's
great
the whole point
trip.
about power. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a fantastic
Yeah, the
trip.
folks
My
I
first
met from your
time.
family were terrific, and I wish you guys would
Oh
come
yeah.
out here again. I really, really do. Anyway, Dr. Bob, stay with us. We're going to step away, take a short break, and when we come back, we will have a lot more with Dr. Bob Winters, so stay with us. We are back right after this, I promise. All right, welcome back, everybody, to more of the 19th hole. We are talking to our very special guest. Lucky to have him, and that's why we love having him on the show, Dr. Bob Winters. And by the way, that Vero X2 ball is phenomenal. If you haven't tried it, do yourself a favor. If you could find it, get it. You're absolutely going to love it. Dr. Bob, you recently have garnered a lot of new students. College students, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us about that. And your aim with them is to do what?
Well, some of them, are like Brendan Valdez, who plays for Auburn University. He's probably one of the top, collegiate players in the nation. He was a great junior golfer, and that's really where we started grooming him. And he's obviously on a track, for the PGA Tour. I mean, he's just phenomenal. I think he might be one of the top, 3 or 4 players, in the nation. But I have all these junior players I have access to with the Ledbetter Junior Golf Academy that I'm the resident sports psychologist, and we have 25 international students. We just had one student, Misha Golad from Ukraine, who had just won the Nota Begay Invitational back to back. He just won it, last week at Mission Inn at Howie in the Hills outside Orlando. And he just signed to University of North Carolina. He's going to be a great player. He wants to, to someday, have a chance to play professional golf. I've had Connor Cassano from Shreveport, Louisiana. He is signed now with LSU, going to be, a Bengal Tiger. And I've had, Matt Carpentier from Pittsburgh, New York, signed with Loyola of Maryland. And I've had Tarish Cyril Valou, who signed for Indiana University. They're at Bloomington, my home state, a Hoosier.
Wow.
And my goodness, there's other people here, that I have left off. But I mean, we have, so many people that I've been working with. And another one who is just a really good player is going to be playing at sort of what we call the Little Ivy School. His name's Jaden Freeman, who comes from Boca Raton, Florida. He just signed to go to Colgate University. So we've got people going south, we got people going north, we got people going all over. There's just a lot of great college programs who have put out some big time players. And as you know, everyone, going to the golf course and you seeing some of these young men and women and some of these, young girl players that I'm working with are just phenomenal. And that leads me to the other thing is that I'm the mental game advisory board member for the next women's professional golf tour. And we've just had our first two events here in the Orlando area. And, it's just a super, super tour. We have some unbelievable people, are on the board with myself, and Stuart McKinnon, is the CEO, great guy from Canada. And, Susie Whaley, who just, was, inducted to the PGA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Susie, we know her, she's legendary. She's on the advisory board with me. We have several other people. I mean, this is going to be a very big mover and shaker type of tour. It isn't going to be just some mini tour. It is a developmental tour, but we're going to have LPGA players, Epson Tour players, college players, and just people who really want, to get great competition. And it's right here in the Winter Series here in Orlando. And I said, well, this is a no-brainer for me. I mean, I just really want to, put my hat in the ring. I can read a map. I see really where this tour is going, and it's only going to be big things. So it keeps me fresh. It keeps me young. All these young people, and they keep me very savvy on all the things going on, in the tech world. And plus, if I can actually keep up with some of these young guns and these flat bellies, we used to call them, that I used to be one at one time, if I can kind of keep my game up with them, then everything is good because, wow, the junior golfers here today are just, a different breed. I mean, they weren't the same ones they were 10, 15 years ago.
No, they're amazing today.
We're getting better and better with each year. So so we've got some great players, that we're doing things with. But I still always love, to talk, to the general public and give, people, because everybody says, wow, can you just give me a couple of tips, to help me become, better? And I thought maybe I would drop a couple of truth bombs with you today to help create golf confidence for all of the listeners for the 19th hole. Would you like me to drop a couple of those truth bombs on you, Dennis?
And unfortunately, I didn't get them. I was looking forward to that.
Okay. Well, I can tell them to you first. Oh, okay. Truth bomb number one is that no one, absolutely no one, really cares what you do, what you shoot, when you go out and play golf. Not really. They really don't care. And the point of it is I'm trying to get people away from all of this worry about others, the committee of them, the evaluative audience. Because if I can get you focused on your game, playing your game one shot at a time, because that's the ultimate number in golf, everything else tends to dissolve. And one of the things that we know about the flow state, and I always love to talk about playing golf, flowing with confidence, because the flow state is a wonderful state of just everything just comes to you, and it's just you're sort of zone-like. And the big thing about, being in that zone-like state is that you lose your sense of self. You don't really have an ego. You've let go of your ego. You've let go of, I'm supposed to impress people. Or I'm supposed to look good of other people. Yeah. And so that's the first truth bomb, number one. And the only reason people, don't really care about you is this very basic fact, is that they're so worried about themselves.
Their own
they
game,
don't have time to actually worry about you. So if you think about, if you step up on the tee, and the next time you go on the tee, and you actually look around before you tee off, everyone else will not be looking at you like this. Okay, they won't. They'll be, just go ahead. You just get off in your way. And they're sitting there. They're trying to get their tea. They might be picking at their shoes or whatever. They could really care less. So that's the first thing. That's the first truth bomb. If you want to create more confidence for yourself, you've got to let go about worrying about what other people are doing.
Absolutely.
And truth
That's
bomb
great.
number 2 is this: if you want to shoot lower scores, and this is the ultimate truth, you have to let go of the notion of wanting to shoot and trying to shoot low scores.
Low score.
This is the ultimate paradox in golf, because when players say, okay, I've got to go out and really shoot a good score today.
Yeah.
I've really got to have this number today. Or they say, I'm a 10 handicap, or I'm a 12 handicap. And then they're having their best day, and they realize, wow, if I can do this, I can beat my handicap, or I can beat this person who has a lower handicap than me. These people aren't playing the game of golf. They're not playing one shot at a time. They're playing the game of, I'm counting.
Yeah.
I'm totaling.
Yeah,
What's my
you're right.
score going to be? So
Great
if we can
point.
just kind of let go of that, all right?
Great point.
And truth bomb number 3 is that golf isn't a game of you versus you. Okay? It's rather a game of you for you. You should be giving yourself some positive, uplifting, optimistic, self-talk versus a lot of this negative, self-deprecating chatter. Even, people who are really good players who are perfectionists, even when someone says, wow, you hit a really good shot, they'll look and they'll go, it's not that good. I hit a little bit off the toe or whatever. And even after hitting a good shot, they don't even get any good juju. There's no good mojo there. So this whole notion about you have to be tough on yourself. No, the game's tough enough.
Exactly.
So, the battle for your mind, it shouldn't be a battle at all. It should be a love affair of you giving you what you need, in order to play your very best golf.
You've got to encourage yourself. Absolutely. Dr. Bob, does the personality of a person affect how quickly they develop a level of confidence?
Well, we haven't really seen, any strong correlations between personality assessments and confidence. At least, I'm not, totally aware. To me, we have a million different personalities out there that develop, traits and state levels of high confidence. I mean, it's just so personality, people love to talk about their personality traits because it's all about me. It's about me. We live in this narcissistic society.
Yeah.
Everybody has their phone and go, it's all about me, talking about me, looking at you, looking at me, talking about me, right? So that's the whole point, about that, But for me, it's, when you talk about confidence, what are you talking about? You're talking about faith and belief. And the one thing, that a golfer has to do, and I always ask my players, are you good? And they go, what do you mean by that? And I'm going, do you believe in your talent when you step up on that first tee, when you step into a shot? Do you believe that your golf ball is going to the target? Because that is the greatest question you have to be answered with a resounding yes. I believe, I'm going to hit this shot. But you'd be surprised, almost 95, 98% of golfers, I have no trust. I have no confidence. I'm not that good. Or they have a wait and see. They have a wait and see attitude. And it really comes up, on the green, on the putting green. Because really, if you think about golf, Dennis, we can hit a drive and we can bump it out there a little bit. We could hit it into the right side, of the rough. Okay, we can still recover on a par 4. Second shot, approach shot, we kind of, gank it up there, by the green. Okay, we can get it up and down. But now you've got a 7-footer for your par, okay? Because I have to believe every putt can be made and every putt deserves to be made. That's one of my Dr. Bob-isms. The point of it is that where do you go after you miss that putt? I mean, putting, it's black and white. There's no gray area there. And so that's the whole point about being committed and having that conviction. This is what I want to do right now, because there's no margin for error there really on the putting green, and it really shows up. And that's why putting becomes very emotional.
Yeah.
And because most golfers go up to the first green with sort of what I call the hit and hope method. They hit it and they hope it goes in,
Yeah.
and they put forward a very lackluster, weak, motivated stroke, and they go, "Gosh, I just can't buy a putt." And so they buy into that philosophy that they're a bad putter because they, base, their confidence or lack of
Yeah.
on the result of that one putt. So that's sort of, really how I see this
Yeah.
thing. It's,
And
it's
they're
not so
putting
much
a
about
negative in their
personality.
head.
It's more
Yeah.
about trust and conviction. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very, very true. What's on the horizon? I know you're extremely busy. What's on the horizon for you coming up? You going to be traveling? You're going to stay around, work with all your students?
Well, the great thing about being here in Orlando in November and December, over the holiday season, we have a lot of junior and college holiday events. We have a lot of, transitional professionals. We've got a lot of
Right.
players getting ready here for the real kickoff 2024 year. I'm, doing some wonderful things, with some people. We're getting ready, for the PGA show, the Ledbetter
Right.
Summit, all the different things here. You were here last year, at that. It was great to see you and your friends here. But there's just always something to do, and I think for me now, as I've had these many years of playing, coaching, researching, is that
Oh, yeah.
I'm sort of like an old 86-year-old Fuller Brush salesman. When I asked him when he was going to retire, and he looked at me, he goes, "Well, hell, Bob, I'm just starting to get good at this." That's kind of the way I feel right now. I'm just starting to really get an idea of really where we need to be going. And what I always say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And
Yeah.
that really holds true for this game. And I don't care what technology you're using, what clubs you're using.
Yeah.
The most important piece of equipment you have in your bag is right here between
up
this
here.
6-inch
Yeah.
fairway. I mean, Bobby Jones said that.
Totally agree.
And the ability to direct your mind to use it for you rather than against you.
Yeah.
To let go of the what if and
Right.
focus on what is.
Yeah.
That is the single greatest thing that's going to improve your golf game, for the rest of your life.
Yeah, well said, well said. And you've got a great facility out there too. Like you said, we were there last year when we were out for the PGA show. We expect to be there again with the PGA
Good.
show coming up in late January. Looking forward to seeing you and seeing Led, and it was a great time.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the roundup of speakers that we have, it's
Yeah.
going to be, really phenomenal. And
Yeah.
even right now, David, is on safari in South Africa, and he hasn't been around for the last couple of weeks. But our Reunion Resort, our Ledbetter Golf Academy, it's really getting groomed. We're really looking forward to having people come and visit us. But I'm also looking forward to having people come and visit me. They want to see me. Aside,
I was going to ask
from,
you, how do they
Ledbetter
get in touch
Academy.
with you, Doctor? If they want some help, if they're there for a couple of weeks, they want to play, they want some help with their mental outlook.
Absolutely. To all of the 19th hole, devoted members and listeners, I'm the Confidence Doctor. You can go into my website, theconfidencedoctor.com. There's a lot of contact numbers there, and you can reach me there. So you can always reach out. And for those of you who really would like, to see me one-on-one, you can actually put that in our contact information. And you can also go to ledbetter.com, and you'll find me there as well. And if you can't find me at either one of those two places, Google me. I will show up. I've been around for a while.
Yeah, you have. You have. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are really happy that you have been around for a while. You've helped a hell of a lot of people. And
Well, thank
you've
you,
got
Dennis.
the accolades to prove it. So, yeah, we're so happy that you took some time out from your schedule to come on. We always love having you on. And we're hoping to get David on when he's back from Safari and talk
that'd be
about
great.
some stuff and talk about his new training aid that I assume is doing pretty good, Doctor.
Yeah, in fact, I did the straightaway, and I will give, David a little plug in this because he sent me, quite a few that, I started using it, for myself, but I also found that it's just not, just for the full swing, but it's great, for putting. It's great for chipping, especially for people who have problems pitching the ball, chipping the ball.
Yeah.
Because it really creates that nice one-piece takeaway movement. Because a lot of times people get, anxiety, they get a little bit yippy, a little bit flinchy, they get very handsy. This takes it all out, and it really helps provide a really nice guide path.
Yeah.
And but listen, I use it. And the other thing is, I'm going to say, is that I know that Encore is one of your big sponsors. I mean, obviously, I've used Encore. I'm on their staff as well. The new Encore balls, that they have, their new Tour prototype ball, the X1, X2, even the Elixir, even the Avani, they're all great golf balls. So, I mean, it's fantastic.
Really are.
And I was using the Encore ball in Scotland, and I have to tell you, it flies pretty well into the wind. And talk about wind, yes. And because when we talk about, Scotland, I always used to say, if it's a nay wind, it's a nay golf. That's really what the Scots, would tell me. And it was so true, when I was there. But it was just a fantastic trip. And I just want all of your, viewers and listeners to remember one thing. The brain, and the mind is really, what, your brain does. And you really, it's always going all the time. So you always want to give it, great stuff. But if things are going bad, all right, things aren't going well, I always tell this has become my trademark. The moment that you change your mind, you change your game. Because the moment you change your mind, the moment you change your mind, and about the things that you think about, the things that you've been thinking about start to change as well. And that's why changing your mind and say, you know what, I'm tired of playing like this. I'm going to have a fresh start. Boom. And you just start fresh.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it worked, for
Great advice.
The Walter Hagens, the Bobby Jones, the Jack Nicklauses, the Tiger Woods,
Great advice.
the Annika Sorenstams. Change your mind, change your game.
Yeah.
And that's coming right to you from the Confidence Doctor.
I like that. No, that's great. I'll let you go, Dr. Bob, because I know you're busy. And again, we appreciate it so much when you come on the show. We love having you on. And we're going to do it again, sooner than later. And it's always a pleasure.
Well, I tell you what, I hope everyone has happy holidays. And if you're going golfing,
you as well.
I hope you always find your ball at the bottom of the cup.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks, Dr. Bob.
All right, thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you so long. Bye-bye. Dr. Bob Winters, great guy and really a very good player. And he knows his stuff. He's helped so many people. All right, last commercial break, and we'll finish up with the show. One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscleback irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence (AI) has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And if you haven't downloaded that Golf Boost AI app, which is free, do it because it will improve your game. It's fantastic. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. Great show with Dr. Bob Winters. I've been your host, Dennis Silvers. No golf this weekend. Hey, the F1 race is here in Las Vegas, and it's phenomenal, so we might opt to look at that rather than play some golf because it's cold and rainy here anyway. So we're probably going to do that, but we hope wherever you are, you get a chance to get out and play some golf. And remember, keep hitting the short stuff. We'll see you right back here, same time, same place next week. So long, everybody.